In a couple of hours, the election in Cote d'Ivoire will kick off. But the thing is, even before the election, the current president, Alassane Ouattara, is expected to win. Now, on the eve of election, Cote d'Ivoire stands at a crossroads between loyalty to a leader perceived as a guarantor of stability and the desire for a renewed political future. Now, Alassane Ouattara, he is the current president of Cote d'Ivoire, and he has decided to run for a fourth term. He came to power almost 16 years ago now. So he's a candidate for a fourth term, and he is actually aiming for a knockout victory in the first round on 25th of October against a divided opposition whose main leaders have already been disqualified by Alassane Ouattara. Now let's look at his election campaign as he was doing it for this election. So some of the things one needs to answer is that there are questions. For example, to understand this election, what is in stake, who are the candidates, how and how the current president is pulling also a knockout victory. These are the things I would like to, analyze on this video. Now, the campaign for the presidential election in Cote d'Ivoire has officially, of course, begun, and it opened this weekend with the first major rallies of the candidates, including that of the incumbent president, Alassane Ouattara. And the front runner in this race is, of course, himself. Now, the head of state will face a former minister of trade. These are the candidates for former minister of trade and member of parliament from the Democratic de Cote d'Ivoire, and then Jean-Louis Billon. You have Simone Yvette Gbagbo, because her husband, Laurent Gbagbo, is disqualified by the High Court in Cote d'Ivoire. That's, of course, with the decision of the president, the current president himself. And you have Henriette Lago Aduja, who is also another candidate. Now, can Ouattara pull off really a knockout victory? President Ouattara is 83 years old now. But he already he has committed a coup against the constitution. Originally, when he came to power in 2010, a president was not allowed to stay more than 2 terms. So that being said, in 2020, he should have already finished his presidential terms. But he amended something in the constitution. Of course, this is something, a trend that's going on in most African countries. And what he did is he was able to also to run for a third term, which he wins. That was back in 2020. And then again, now after 5 years, he is running for the 4th term, because when he amended that constitution, many have also predicted he's going to win that 3rd term. So in the same way, what they're saying is that he is going to win the 4th term. So it's an election that is already decided before the election is even held. That is one. Another thing to look at is of course, without a heavy, like the main figures of the opposition party, he can also win. I mean, the first one's Laurent Gbagbo. He was also a president prior to President Ouattara. I mean, President Ouattara, he came to power in 2010 with the help of France. Actually, France intervened militarily to remove Laurent Gbagbo from power, and that's how he became a president. I mean, they held election, but that election was rigged. Okay, now another question is that why the opposition failed. They also have division, so why they have failed to solve their divisions. Now, between the excluded candidates, those approved but estranged from their parties, and then short-term political maneuvers, ego clashes, and unresolved old disputes. With all this, the opposition has failed to unite behind a common strategy capable of tipping the vote in its favor. Okay, these are the things why it makes it not really a strong opposition for Alassane Ouattara, which he has his hand, which he played a role, of course, by disqualifying the major opposition party leaders. Then most of the time, when election happens, we see violence, protests on the roads because, people demand, they want those who they have voted to come to power. Or sometimes the protests are also because it's a way of saying that, enough for the current regime and to go. So with that, I mean, people expect, or some analysis actually said that those kind of things we might see on the streets of Ivory Coast, or in Abidjan, in the capital city. For example, on 5th October already, this month, 44,000 security personnel have been deployed across the country. So 18,000 police officers, 18,000 again 8,000 soldiers. So these are nearly a quarter more than during 2020 election, when violence has erupted and left actually 85 people dead over 3 months. That's what is reported, but you don't know, the number could be more as well. That's like the official figure. Now, so Ivorians, of course, still remember those horrible scenes, what happened in election 2020. Now, can we can we also say that there will be a high voter turnout? Well, the candidates have 14 days. They have been given 14 days to convince more than 8.7 million voters, but how many will actually go to the polls? So the turnout in 2020 was 53.9%, according to the Electoral Commission. So this year they are expecting it might reach, from the total of the voters, 85%. So now, beyond the security concerns that may affect voter mobility, Ivorian politicians must also, contend with deep public distrust as well. Another question is, will the legislative election serve as a test? Now, legislative elections are scheduled for 27 December, just 2 months after the first round of the presidential vote. That may seem distant, but they are already a key focus for the entire Ivorian political class. Now, while the main goal is for Ouattara's party, of course, will be to continue and to stay in power. This is something Also, they wanted to, the country or the government wants to display it as if there are, opposition parties that are allowed to run in this for this election. But will they win? That's the main question. But it seems that from all the steps and actions that have been taken prior to this election, it makes it, really hard to say, okay, we will see a new blood or a new leader in Cote d'Ivoire's political system. Ouattara seems the one who is going to win. But this is, of course, my take. And from various readings that I have done, those of you who thinks different, let us know in the comment section, what do you think of this election of Ivory Coast? But the main thing is that, for me, Ivory Coast, of course, deserves a different type of leader, a different political party, but also someone that will bring stability, that would, be a good friend to the Alliance of the Sahel states, not every time sabotaging and, being an accomplice of a coup d'etat in the Sahel states. For me, that's what I would like to see. Share your view in the comment section, and we will bring you more as well, especially a report on who is President Laurent Gbagbo, that was a president 16 years ago before Ouattara came, because that by itself is an interesting story to look at. Ciao, ciao, and I'll see you on the next one.